So, Dr. Perkins, why don't you just tell me a little bit about your upbringing, your family life growing up, and how that's impacted who you are today, your theology, and your views on reconciliation.
It's fresh because I just went on a retreat, and I went on a retreat in my home environment where I grew up. And yesterday I spent a little time just riding around my home environment. And I grew up without a mother, without a father, in my life deeply. My father was there, and I had a longing for him, and I would see him from time to time, but he never played any part in my formation as a person. I think the first thing I can remember when I can remember in this big family without a mother, and all the other children had mothers, but they didn't have fathers in their home either. But first thing I can remember is that I didn't have a mother, that she had died when I was 7 months old. I think that created everything. And it probably came out of my longing, probably was crying. And the children said, now you don't have a mother, something like that. I don't know what it was, but so I can remember that. So that was a shaping element, I think, in my life. And then my father, when I can remember, I was about 3 years old or so when he came to visit me. And in my mind, I just thought he had come to take me back with him. And so I couldn't imagine him going somewhere without me going, but he had to go without me. I think so there was this love rejected, not quiet. I think I got some of that in me. I think you got to prove yourself to me a little bit, in life. So, which don't allow for that unconditional love to flow out. So I think my mother, when I found out about the condition that my mother died in and the poverty that she lived in, and now with the understanding of how that affects people, I think that really has a lot to do with my behavior. And again, I might not, because of that, I might not show enough patience, and because I had to grow up without I was by the time I was 10, 11 years old, I was my own caretaker and man. You understand? So I've been a man a long time, and I was dropped out of school when I didn't have much education, and I have looked back at it now. Now that I look at it now, I achieved, and I did not see that until now. I achieved what a average person wouldn't achieve, but I think it was that fortitude, and it was that lacking to become a victim. I think you become a victim when you got somebody else you expect to do something for you, and you fail, and so they didn't do enough for you. You understand? And so that love, having that kind of love, people call it, hadn't been in me, and so I don't fault my father, I don't fault my mother for my problem. When I was a little boy, I remember that my father was buying something at a little store, and I noticed that he wrote an X he was buying on credit. And that's when I realized that my father couldn't read or write. And so what went out from me to him was empathy. And I think that sort of go out with me with fools. A little empathy go out, but it's not deep love. If you're a fool. And so that I need to grow in that kind of thing. I say, but I believe so much in human dignity. So that, and I don't know if I use that sufficient or not, because unconditional love would show respect before you judge them, and that's prejudice. So what I'm talking about is my prejudice, that I grew up with. But my other problem, my other good problem, is that overrides some of that for me. It has been like a tough so-called tycoon. You know that you achieved it, and I achieved it. I'm a Marine. You get the idea. I'm a tough guy, and I'm tough because I mastered those conditions, and that you was soft. You was a wimp as far as I'm concerned. You got so that's what I got to learn is more passion and more love. And I'm thinking about it because I'm at the end of my life, and I still think I could do it. Might be able to do it. Still think I would like to do it. I would like to express God's love to people, and I'm in an environment where I can do that now because I have such advantage over people. So it would be easier for me to. They sort of like me. People sort of like important people. You get the idea, and then I will hit them with something too tough when I should be hitting them with more love, what they need. In life. So I grew up on a difficult situation, and that has been my deal is turning those difficult things into almost virtues. Like when I was beaten in the Brandon jail, those white people looked like little demons. And I was very aware of the fact that I was defeated. And then I said, well, if I get out of this prison alive, I want to preach a gospel that is strong enough to reach those demons. You get the idea? And so I got this behavior to turn these difficult things into some form of, you could call it passion, but some form of determinism, and then move forward with it. So that was my upbringing,